But she's one of my favorite people on the planet. So Audra Esper, you're up with Lisa.
Oh my God. Lisa, I'm such a fangirl. Like I'm fangirling out. And I had like 17,000 questions, particularly cruise based, but you've addressed like all of them, that particularly the bridge and the male egos and overcoming that. And your answer was so simple. Like you're an open book and all of a sudden they're like, oh, anyway, but that's not my question. So in your world, it's so hard because you're sort of not up in your ivory tower, but in a way you are. You're in Miami, and then if you go out to the ship, obviously everyone knows who you are. Or if you go to um, your Australia office, everyone knows who you are. So if you come into contact with someone that would maybe be considered like lower level, like that doesn't have access to you all the time, or like constant FaceTime, what is a way that they what is a way that they can like stand out to you, because they might get like 5 to 7 seconds with you. Everyone knows you, so everyone knows that if they make a good first impression with you, that could help their career, particularly in the cruising industry. um so are there certain qualities and things that you look for, or that stand out to you, that that make someone memorable, and you think back, well, I only have like 10 seconds with them, but I remember that person? And then the part two of the question is, let's say there's like, maybe manager and below, but they're with you in the Miami office. Are there qualities that stand out to you, or maybe, like you're thinking, like maybe they're not there yet talent wise, but you see this X factor in them? What makes someone memorable to you?
Well, I think it's what you just said, that this X factor, but I think people need exposure to you for you to be able to see, see that X factor. And so I tried to be on the ships often. I was always engaging with the crew. I would stop and talk to the crew all the time. The biggest compliment somebody that comes back from one of our ships can tell me is everyone in your crew knows you, and your entire crew loves you. And that is, that really, it speaks to how I try to lead. And I always wanted to make sure that people, when I walked onto ships in 2005, one of the things that really, really bothered me is how intimidated the crew is by leadership that walks on the ship from Miami. And you know that, and very well, having spent as much time in the industry. And I'm like, I've got to change that. I do not want anyone to ever be afraid that I'm coming on the ship. And what ended up happening was everybody out in the fleet wanted me to visit their ship, wanted me to sail with them, wanted me to take my vacations. Usually they're like, oh my God, no, she's coming. And they tremble in fear. So the first thing you have to do is make people really comfortable. And even shoreside, I would always try to have managers participate, managers present. I would interact and engage with as many levels as people as possible. My favorite people on the ships were the cleaners. They're in the shadows, but they're keeping these ships meticulous. It's the lowest level on the ship, but I stopped and talked to every single one of them and said thank you. And then I would sit in the restaurants, and the people that actually had fun with me were the people that I enjoyed the most, versus people who were a little intimidated that they were serving me. So I think it's really your style. I think it's how open you leave yourself. I think it's how much you're paying attention. And what I also tried to do is, because I can't see everyone, is tried to lead in a way where I would tell people. One guy came in and said to me into my office, he worked on the ships and he was in my office, and he came in, he had tears in his eyes, and he said, how will I ever be able to repay you for making all of my dreams come true? This guy is Romanian. He started at 18 on the ships as an assistant waiter. He became associate vice president of all of our service, and he came shoreside. He met his wife. He had a baby, and has a baby, Sarah. And I looked at him and I said, do the same thing for others that I did for you. Look for talent, find that, that nugget, and reward them and help them grow, and pay it forward. That's that's another section of my book. I'm a big believer in paying it forward.